Well, good evening out to you there in internet land. Hello, hi, and how are you doing? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Chattin on the Porch, a fun little live stream that we do Monday through Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, across the internet version of the Fruited Plain, sharing the news, giving our views, getting your views on the news, and otherwise trying to have a whole lot of fun doing it. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please, if you have not done so yet, send out a link to your friends, tell them to come on in and join you. Got a few things on the list of items to talk about tonight. Some pretty spicy, some of them not, some of them somewhere in between. But above all else, we're trying to make it fun for you guys so you get a chance to get off your chest stuff that you're thinking about. You see something in the news, and you're like, daggone it, I want to go talk about this to somebody. Who do I go talk to? What's Front Porch doing? Well, come on in and find out. You get to share with me what's on your mind, because in the end, this show is for you. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am known as the wise guy in the wide brim, sometimes known as the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I am referred to as the common man with common sense, but I am above all else your host. Again, we're on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. So please, share the link far and wide. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. You know you want to. Go ahead and leave some comments below. For some strange reason, Mr. Algorithm likes it when you tickle the thumbs up and leave the comment in advance. Seems to help out with that thing we call the algorithm. Don't know why. I just get on here and talk. What do I know? I'm just a guy doing social media. I don't understand all of it. But anyway, we want to thank you guys for being here. We're going to do our best to make this a fun night for all of y'all. We're going to talk about what the heck is going on in the world. Oh my goodness. It is now Tuesday, the 17th of September. We are rolling toward any number of different things. Or as Merle Haggard might have said, like a snowball headed for hell. Hopefully that's not the case. But we are definitely, you can feel the weight of history pulling us towards something momentous. And I think the days ahead are going to be very interesting. Sometimes they're bright, sometimes they're dark, sometimes they're in between. But above all else, we're going to be here for each other to help us make it through. Let's see who all's here tonight. We'll start on the YouTube side. And who be in the house? Miss Gypsy is here. How are you, darling? Miss Chai is in the house. Good to see you. Hello, my love. I am surrounded by a bevy of beautiful women. How am I doing tonight? I am fantabulous. Absolutely fantabulous. Let's see, who else is here? Midmo's in the house. Good to have you here, Midmo. Let's see who's on the Rumble side. WWG1 is here. Hello, all. Well, hello, WWG1. TBA is here. Hello, Fedora Nation. The Wingnuts are accounted for. Indeed they are. Indeed they are, sir. So good to have you guys here. Oh, no. Good God, WG sent me something. Hang on a minute. I'm now scared. Scared, but extremely curious. WWG1 says, what about us beautiful men? Now, wait a minute. Now, hang on a minute. Men can be handsome. I don't know about beautiful, okay? But men can be handsome. All right, are you fishing for a compliment, WWG1? Then fine, I'll give you one. I'm surrounded by handsome men. Does that make you feel better? Yeah, just saying. There you go. Okay. I've got one of the things you sent me. Let's see what this other one is. This should be good. Hang on, y'all. I have some late submissions for the Merry Memes section of the show, which actually, WWG1, I'm kind of glad that you sent me these, because I've been a little thin this evening as far as the Merry. Oh, yes. Yes, I know what this second one is. And thank you for saying that to me, WWG1. I had not pulled this up, but daggone, it needs to be talked about, because motivations are motivations. That's it. Oh my. Oh. Well, speaking of good-looking ladies, oh my. Look who just walked through that door. Good evening, my dear. Okay, and y'all, I'm going to behave myself now because Courtney's here. Now, look, let's just be honest about it, okay? Last time I had a bit of a meltdown. I'm not going to lie. She strolled in. I lost my stuff. Like I said, sometimes kryptonite gets to me, and yeah, Courtney can be all kinds of kryptonite. So, and yes, Courtney, you can clip that and use it. I give you permission. Um, I'm sorry. I am not trying to make you blush. I'm simply trying to pay you beautiful ladies the compliments that you deserve. Did you see that Brian's eyes dilated when he saw Courtney and Jay? Oh, God, y'all are awful. Then again, I asked for it. So, all right. So, yes, Madam Kryptonite walked in the room. So now, but I'm a professional in my mind anyway. I'm a professional. I'm going to maintain it. I'm not going to lose my shit like I did the last time. So there, Courtney, there. I can just see all this getting clipped. I have no doubt it will get clipped and probably will. And yes, Courtney, you have my permission. Go ahead and do it. I can just see it now. Fealty's going to get a hold of this. Go, oh God, I can't wait to clip this stuff for Courtney. Anyway, glad you guys are here tonight. Quite a few things to talk about. Not necessarily a big number of subjects, but a whole bunch of different meaty things on a few number of things, but with a lot of meat on the bones. So there you go. Yes, her stream was very interesting. That is true. That is very true. Now we'll start off. We are professionals. That's a new take. That's a new take on WAP. There you go. Good evening, Robert. Boy, did you walk in at just the right time. Oh, Lord. Goodness me. Okay. All right. Let me pull it together here. All right. WWG1, first of all, thank you for sending me the two things you did. I was a little bit light on the Merry Meme section. TBA says, I love it when you lose your shit, Brian. Makes my therapy evening complete. You're welcome. That's all I'm saying. You're welcome. Oh, now wait a minute. This is not true. I disavow this comment, TBA. TBA's over on Rumble saying, all the pretty women get the come hither voice. Ever notice that, WWG1? We are just pimples on an ass over here. No, that's just not true. Not true at all, sir. TBA, what do you want me to get? You want me to give you the come hither voice? I mean, seriously, dude. What the hell? Jeez. My God. Oh, you're just grousing. All right. Well, you're just grousing then. All right. There you go. Goodness me. All right. Let's jump in, and we've got some merry memes and various other things. I'll start first with a submission from WWG1, and I have to thank him for this. Not to be outdone by the Mossad's exploding pagers, the CIA announces that they have managed to hack into the nation's 8-track players and force them to play Taylor Swift on loop, causing listeners, that's just wrong. Oh, WWG1, how could you? So the CIA has managed to hack into the nation's 8-track players, forcing them to play Taylor Swift on a loop, causing listeners to wish that they had... Look. All I'm saying is this. If it's reached the point that the CIA has managed to pull this off, civilization is just done. That's all I'm saying. Just done. But can you believe this? Now, I don't know where WWG1 found this piece of information, but I want the receipts on this, dude. I want some receipts. It's one thing for the Mossad to start blowing up pagers. It's another thing for the CIA to start hacking into 8-track players. Just saying. Anyway, thank you, WWG1, for passing that on to the group. Fedora Nation greatly appreciates it. Now, this next one is not necessarily a meme, but it was a funny. And when I found this, I was like, okay, We got to share this because this is just too daggone good. You know, people have been trying to find just the right movie analogy to compare this election season to, or movie title. And it's been tough because there's so many highs and lows and so many different movies from so many different genres that you could legitimately say that this election season reminds you of fill in the blank of the name of the movie title. Okay. Well, some clever soul out there managed to do two or three things all at the same time. They took a movie, part of its soundtrack, various political persons or entities, mashed it all together, and they came up with the following. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this little 45-second. TBA says someone's got way too much time on their hands. You're not wrong, and I want to know who it is because that's the person I want to talk to. That's great. I'm going to drop this one in chat for y'all's benefit. Feel free to do with as you will. There it goes on the YouTube side, and here it comes on the Rumble side. So there you go. Yeah, I found that when I was like, oh my gosh, this is just too freaking funny. I was like, I got to show this to the gang tonight. This is just great. All right, what else do we have here by the way of the merry memes? Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. You know, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Former Secretary of State, former U.S. Senator, and former First Lady Hillary Clinton is back in the news. And I got to tell you guys something. The poor girl's not looking good these days. And see, I don't understand why. Lord knows it's not like she doesn't have the money for facelifts and Botox and, you know, a trainer, working out, that sort of thing. But man, I tell you what, this recent appearance that she had on Rachel Maddow's show on MSNBC, whoo, girl, you were not looking good. Court, you ladies out there need to ride to Chappaqua and offer to go on up there and give her some help because this bless her heart. And see, that's the part I don't get. She's got all that money, all that influence. She could go anywhere in the world. You know, she could, look better than what she does. But man, I'll tell you what, this is just bad. And she may be back on the, again. I'm just saying. I think you'll understand when you see this clip. It runs a very short amount of time, but man, I ain't kidding. She's looking anyway. With that, here you go.
If Trump wins, we're all fucked. He's going to prosecute everyone that went after him. We're all going to end up at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba or worse.
Guys, look, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, yeah, like I say, I don't. What do you do? What do you do for the eyes? That's my question. I mean, look at this. What do you do for the eyes? I mean, is it do we have a Botox issue? It's some kind of creamer. I mean, I don't know. I mean, WWG1 says beer goggles wouldn't even touch that. Dude, you ain't wrong. That is just absolutely, yeah. My word. TBA says she's maybe right on point, but those eyes, yeah, I'm not, yeah. And I'm just saying, TVA is like, she looks nasty. She is nasty. Yeah, there you go. I gotta say, girl needs some help. That girl needs some help. All right. Well, speaking of needing help, it turns out that Donald Trump is about to get some by way of a former political rival. As you all are fully aware by now, the would-be assassin in this now second attempt on Trump's life is now under federal custody. And he was given 2 different counts yesterday in federal court. However, an intervention has taken place, and I'm not necessarily surprised. I am kind of glad it happened, and the circumstances behind how it went down by way of why they did it, to me, are really interesting. So with that, I want to take you guys to the pages of Breitbart.com, and we've got the following headline. Ron DeSantis, quote, not in the best interest to have the same federal agencies prosecute Donald Trump and investigate his assassination attempts. Article by Hannah Knudsen, we have the following. Both Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican of Florida, and Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, Republican, are casting doubt on how smart it is to have the feds, who are trying to prosecute former President Donald Trump, investigate the attempts on his life. DeSantis announced on Tuesday that he's signing an executive order assigning the case involving the attempted assassination of Trump to the Office of State Prosecutor under the supervision of Moody. During his remarks, he expressed the same concerns that many Americans have expressed, not trusting the feds to investigate properly and provide ample transparency. Well, given the way things have gone with the Butler investigation, you can kind of begin to understand where DeSantis is coming from on this, and frankly, I don't blame him. But anyway, back to the article. A little bit further on, we have the following. He said, quote, in my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or the nation that the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump are leading this investigation, especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law but not federal. And with that, we've got some clips from the governor of Florida. I will go ahead and pull these up for your all's benefit. And I'll start with the first one. This one's pretty good. It runs about 1:25. I'm going to play the whole thing. As always, give me a sound check. If I feel I need to interrupt it, I will. But this is DeSantis with his justification on why this case is being moved to state court.
Today, I'm signing an executive order assigning the case involving the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump to the Office of Statewide Prosecutor under the supervision of Attorney General Ashley Moody. The suspect, Ryan Routh, is believed to have committed state law violations across multiple judicial circuits in the state. Palm Beach Judicial Circuit, the Judicial Circuit including Martin County, as well as perhaps the Judicial Circuit represented by Broward County. Also, the state of Florida has jurisdiction over the most serious, straightforward offense, which is attempted murder. I've directed state agencies to move expeditiously and to provide full transparency to the public. In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation to have the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump leading this investigation, especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law, but not federal law. In addition to holding the suspect accountable, the public deserves to know the truth about how this assassination came to be. And I have directed all state agencies to work expeditiously to be able to uncover the truth in addition to holding this suspect accountable.
Okay, so there you go. Now, I find this interesting on so many different levels. Because remember what he was charged with yesterday. He was charged with possession of a firearm by a felon and being in possession of a firearm with a obliterated serial number, which on its face doesn't sound like a whole lot. Now, according to news articles that we read yesterday, the feds were saying, well, we could wind up charging him with more. Well, then if you could charge him with more, why didn't you go ahead and do it? Now, I got to admit, I may have had my disagreements with DeSantis, and on occasion I still have them. However, I give him a lot of credit on this one. Doesn't matter if it's this issue or so many others across the country. Conservatives have been calling on particularly Republican attorney generals and in some case governors, hey, they're doing this to us, Letitia James in New York, whomever. Well, how come you guys aren't stepping up and fighting fire with fire? And you get usually a mumbled sort of, I don't know, maybe we can do something. We'll send a strongly worded letter or something like that. Not this time. Heck no. DeSantis and the AG down in Florida, Moody, they're like, screw that. We want him in our custody. We're doing the investigation. We'll prosecute this guy. And my thought to that is, good on you, Ronnie boy. Now, we got a couple more clips, and he takes questions from the press, that is Governor DeSantis, and he's asked a very interesting question, and that is, what kind of information do you think a state investigation will reveal that a federal investigation will not? Well, we've got a clip here. This is DeSantis in his own words. This runs about a minute and a half, and I think this is really good. As always, give me a sound check and tell me what you guys think. Anyway, here we go.
What kind of information do you believe that the state investigation will reveal that the federal investigation may not?
I think what will reveal, I think, is the important thing. What the state does is going to be made public. I mean, you guys know who are from Florida. You can FOIA a lot of the stuff that's done in these investigations under Florida sunshine laws, and then they have a charge to be very frank and exercise candor with the public. I want the information to get out. I do not want any of the information kept under wraps. We're not a party to anything that happened in terms of the state of Florida government. I mean, we have been asked to help in the past on security, and we're always willing to do that. But that wasn't our primary. We were not responsible for it that day. We've not been responsible for any of the prosecutions that have been brought against the former president. So we're in a great situation to be able to look at this with clear eyes, get answers, and then deliver those answers to the public. I don't think anyone can honestly claim that the federal government has been forthright and transparent about its past investigations. That's just the reality. That's just how these guys operate. Apart from any type of political bias, that's how it's been really for many, many years. That's not how it's going to be here. And so we'll cooperate with all agency or all levels of government, because I think that some of those gun charges may be appropriate to bring, but not to the exclusion of bringing a charge for something like attempted murder.
Now, again, I absolutely applaud DeSantis in this. I genuinely do. Okay. This is probably one of the best things, or one of the best moves I've seen him make in quite a while. Transparency. Let's tell the public what's going on. Let's share what information we've got. Let's let it put out there for the people to decide. When you compare that approach to how the Secret Service is handling the ongoing investigation of what happened to Butler, to the point that Dick Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut, is saying, look, Department of Homeland Security, either you start handing over stuff or we're going to start issuing subpoenas to get it. When a Democrat starts doing that, that ought to tell you everything you need to know about how things are going. Now, maybe Blumenthal's doing it for purely political theater, maybe, but I'm willing at this point to take Dick Blumenthal at face value and believe him when he says, look, we're asking you for information. You're not giving it to us. So either you start coughing it up or we're going to start issuing subpoenas to make you guys do it. Here, DeSantis is like, look, there are very serious charges that we can bring as the state of Florida, which, by the way, we got one more clip that sort of explains why he wants this in a Florida court. And this is a pretty good reason. But I give DeSantis a lot of credit. Let's tell the public what's going on. Let's make it transparent. And he does bring up another really good point. Florida has fantastic sunshine laws. You put down a FOIA request, and you're probably going to get what you're looking for, okay, in quick, speedy order. So there you go. Joe stopped in over on Rumble. How you doing this evening, Joe? Good to have you here. Talking about my comment, that was a really great Mitch McConnell impersonation. I wasn't trying to do a McConnell, but you're probably right. I guess we'll send out a strongly worded Ukraine. Give money. Kentucky bourbon. Yeah, that does sound a little bit like McConnell. Now that you stopped to mention it. TBA says Brian isn't drunk enough yet to do a good impression of McConnell. Oh, geez, y'all are brutal tonight. Let's see. So there we go. Let's see what else have we got here. Let's see what else. Can you? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. You are true. You are true. And Gypsy, you may be right. Blumenthal might turn out to be a liar. He might. But let's see how this thing shakes. I'm going to talk about you, Governor. I'll absolutely talk about you, Governor. All right, we got one more clip here, and this one's pretty good. This one runs about 2 minutes, but again, I think it's worth definitely talking about, and it kind of explains what DeSantis, why he wants this thing tried in a Florida court. So with that, it runs about 2 minutes. I'll interject if I think I need to, but check this out.
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, the federal government does not have jurisdiction to bring an attempted murder charge. If you look at the federal statute, it applies to current federal officials. Okay, so I'm explaining to you why that's happening. If you let me finish. So they don't have jurisdiction over a case that's not a federal official or is a apparent winner of a presidential election or the formally declared president-elect. So right then and there, we have the ability to pursue potentially life in prison under state law.
Okay, I want to stop there. And I hadn't really thought about it until DeSantis made this point. But if he's right, then it starts making a whole lot of sense why state of Florida wants this in their jurisdiction, why they want the investigation, and why they want to try this guy. Because of all the things that he was charged with yesterday, wasn't charged with attempted murder. And DeSantis is right. Trump may be a former president, but currently he is not a federal official. He is not the president-elect. Lord, are you listening? He's not any of those things. Strictly speaking, even though he's a private citizen, even though he's a former president, he's a former president, he is a private citizen. Therefore, if they're really going to go after this guy and punish him for what happened, then state court at this stage makes sense as to why you bring the case. TBA says, I wonder who the shooter will give up in order to get a better deal. Well, that sort of begs the question, will he give anybody up? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to determine yet. We'll see. We will see. All right, back to the clip, and we'll finish this thing up.
A huge reason why we should move forward at the state level than that. And it is the case that you have a situation where these charges that were brought in this jurisdiction, Southern District of Florida, by the federal government, they were dismissed by a federal judge, and now they're on appeal trying to get those reinstated. And they have a right to do that. But I would note to you, it was Merrick Garland who assigned a special counsel because he said there was a political issue and they wanted to appear to be above it. He was the one that did that. There really was no true conflict. If these were normal crimes, you could have done it. But they did a special counsel. And so if you did a special counsel for that, wouldn't those same concerns animate whether you're the appropriate jurisdiction? So they cannot pursue charges to the extent we can. And yes, I do think that there's a lot of concern about how these agencies have operated. And state of Florida I mean, for us, all we're interested in is the truth. We're not involved in any of those other things that the Justice Department or FBI have been involved in. So it's better for the public, and it's better for justice.
Can't disagree with any of that, frankly. So good on you, Ronnie boy. Proud of you. Keep on trucking. WWG1 says over on Rumble, I would give up Brian in an instant if we were involved in a conspiracy together. Well, let me just say something, WWG1. Knowing that, be advised, sir, I will never enter into a conspiracy to commit a crime with you, because if you're going to hang me out to dry, I am definitely not going to partner with you on that sort of thing. I do have standards. My criminality has standards, my friend, and I just want you to know that up front. So there you go. Joe says, is he in custody in Florida? Could he be Epsteined? I'm going to work from the assumption that he is in custody in Florida. Now, whether he's been transferred from the feds to the state yet, I have no idea how that works. Okay. So we'll see. But to answer now, could he be Epsteined? That's a really good question. As a matter of fact, there's somebody else that we're going to talk about tonight. He definitely got some potential Epstein problems ahead of him. But we'll say, I'll tease you with that little line. We'll get to that a little bit later. Agree with Chai. Good evening. Oh, and Dave, hold on. Before we go any further, I have to give Dave a truck ton of credit on something, and I should have done this yesterday. And I want to read you exactly what he said. He posted something in comment, and for the sake of being fair, I'm going to quote this. Can I have credit for saying they, whoever they may be, are going to kill Trump, please? I have said on this channel 100 times, the FBI continues to make it easy for nut jobs to get off shots on Trump. Love you, Brian, and I love your show. Peace, brother. So there you go. Dave H., you have been given sufficient credit, sir. And I love you too. Thank you for being here tonight. And you are just totally awesome. We got an update here. He is still in a county jail in Florida. Okay. So the feds don't have him. Florida's got him. All right. So, let's see. Palm Beach County is blue-ish, and hopefully DeSantis can do what he can do. Well, let's find out what Ronnie Boy can do here. And there you go. So, all right. Like I say, proud of you, Ron DeSantis. You go, boy. You go. Do have one other piece of information on this. Let me see. Let me see if I got this guy's name. I thought I did. I thought I had an article here with the gentleman's name who's prosecuting this in supervision by Attorney General Moody down in Florida. Nope. I thought I had it and I don't. Okay, never mind. All right, let's do a real quick commercial since we're sort of at the top of the hour. First of all, hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? If you have happened upon this live stream and you're looking at this very handsome fellow in the shirt, vest, and hat, and you're saying to yourself, who is this dashingly, devilishly handsome fellow with the witty conversation and the absolutely fabulous audience? Well, let me tell you who I am, then I'll introduce them. My name is Brian Trippett, and I am known as the Front Porch Conservative. You may have heard of me. I'm starting to become a thing. This audience that is both on Rumble and YouTube is known as Fedora Nation. They are the smartest audience on the internet, and you have the opportunity to become part of this amazing community. You may do so by subscribing to my channel. And don't just subscribe in one place. Be one of the cool kids and go ahead and subscribe in both places. You subscribe on Rumble and YouTube, and you'll get the bang for the buck. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and share the link. And since you really want to go ahead and do it anyway, I'll just go ahead and give you permission. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, do all that happy jazz. And you know what? Just become part of the best daggone audience on the internet. Because really, in the end, you want to. I can only peer pressure you so far. I can lead you to the water, but in the end, you got to drink it. And with that, we'll move on to our next topic of the evening. Oh, I sort of wish I had permission to play the Imperial March by John Williams, because if the day ever comes that I get smart enough to be able to do theme music, I think I'm going to make a theme music for Hillary Clinton, and I will make it the Imperial March from the film The Empire Strikes Back. We have a Hillary Clinton update. So in your head, if you wouldn't mind, dun dun da dun dun da da dun da da dun dun da dun da da dun da da. All right, enough of that. I'm butchering John Williams' masterpiece. But anyway, we have a Hillary Clinton update. Hillary has slithered out from under whatever rock she's been hiding under, and she decided to go on Rachel Maddow's show last night. And let me tell you something. Hillary has not lost her ability whatsoever to be able to piss everybody off, take them from zero to furious inside of 10 seconds. I've got a clip here, and it runs about 30 seconds long. And you know, let's be honest. Hillary is good at making people mad, but she's not as good as she used to be. Bless her heart, she's getting on in years. And she needs a little bit of time to, warm up the fastball, so to speak. But what she says in this clip is frightening. Absolutely frightening. And with that, I give you the infamously legendary Hillary Clinton.
Just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because
like I said, it doesn't take Hillary long to remind you of why we, the American people, did our best to retire her politically back in 2016. I mean, folks, we all know this in one form or another. We've heard modern day Democrats, Kamala Harris, among others, say that they want free speech throttled in one form or another. Now, they never say it that explicitly, but if you strip down all the flowery language that surrounds their comment, that's basically what they want to do. Okay? Hillary, she's not even worried about being flowery. Okay? She's just downright blatant with it. And just in case you didn't catch what she was saying, let me do this one more time.
And this kind of propaganda, and whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged, is something that would be a better deterrence, because
civilly or criminally charged. Brother, you ain't getting any argument from me. No argument from me at all. Good evening, dear heart. Another lovely lady has made her way into the room. I'm going to say something, which, I'm not necessarily saying anything you guys haven't all said at one time or another, either amongst yourselves or with friends or, fellow like-minded folk. But there is so much riding on this election. And I think perhaps more than anything else, past the economy, past foreign policy, past, all the basic stuff we argue about, is the question of freedom of speech. If Kamala Harris and Tim Walz get elected, there is no doubt in my mind they are going to try and go after Elon Musk. They're going to go after YouTubers. They're going to go after people on Rumble. They're going to go after Tucker Carlson. Name whoever it may be. Okay? Tim Walz has said blatantly, there is no such thing as an absolute right to free speech. Kamala has said that social media platforms need to be punished. They need to be held to a whole different standard. And like I say, if you need a reminder of why you need to go vote, there you go, folks. There you go. Boy. Oh, by the way, on a side note, and I haven't got anything pulled up, but have you heard about Scott Adams's plan called Operation Landslide? Matter of fact, hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this real fast, because this would be kind of fun. Give me 1 second here, folks. I can probably do this real quick. Scott Adams has come up with a wonderful idea. Okay, I'm not going to play all of this, but it's definitely worth talking about, because this is great. This runs about 3 minutes. Like I said, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I don't know if you've heard about this, but this is Scott Adams' idea about what to do with regard to the election.
Getting one person who has never voted before but likes Trump to just click a link and fill in some things while you're on them, and you're making sure that you're holding them accountable. Yeah, you could do that. I would dare say nearly 100% of Trump voters could do that. Now, it matters most in the swing states. It matters way less to me. But if you're in Pennsylvania, listen to me. All right. I grew up in the Northeast in upstate New York. I know you Pennsylvanians. I know you. And every one of you who are Trump supporters or could be Trump supporters would enjoy watching the news and watching the faces of the fake news people fall off as they watch him win in a landslide. It's what you want. You know you'd enjoy it. Think about the faces of the news people when they find out that you lied to the pollsters, and way more people voted than anybody expected.
That's not a bad idea. So just give it some thought. I know everybody's got busy lives, but even if it's just one person, there you go. Motard! Long time no see. Glad to have you back in the house. Motard Squid is here. Good to see you, brother. Or sister. I'm going to go with brother. Oh, goodness. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, I agree. Scott Adams is fascinating to listen to. If you don't necessarily agree with him on anything, he's a fabulous conversationalist. Fedora Nation Girls. Okay. I like that. I like that term. I like it. You can use that. Anyway, thought you guys might find that interesting. Matter of fact, let me drop that link if you want to listen to the whole thing. Let me go ahead and drop that on the YouTube and the Rumble side. Feel free to check that out at your leisure. Okay. Fortunately for all of us, the Hillary stuff was very short, because I know most of y'all have finished off your dinner and it's still settling in your stomach and digesting and all that. Ain't no sense ruining your dinner with, indigestion and heartburn. And let's just be honest, Hillary Clinton can give that to you. That said, I'm going to get into a subject that I won't say that under normal circumstances I wouldn't talk about, but it delves toward the cultural side. In this case, in part, the pop cultural side. But it's definitely got to be one of the biggest stories coming and going out there. And the reason I want to talk about it is the potential tentacles that go along with this thing are huge. Now, let me say in advance, I am not trying to do this as any kind of a distraction, nor do I necessarily think I'm being distracted. Trust me, I'm going to be as much as I can with the time and the attention span I've got, I'll be all over the political stuff all the way from here to election day and beyond. But this story, like I said, this thing is a multi-tentacled hydra. And all the people that it's got the potential to suck in is huge. Politicians, pop culture stars, athletes, etc. If this guy starts talking, this could get big. Do I think it's going to happen? No idea. But if it does, oh, Katie, bar the door. And with that, I give you the following from NBCnews.com. Sean Diddy Combs arrested by federal agents in New York. Combs was arrested amid a wave of lawsuits against him alleging sexual assault and misconduct. Article by Chloe Melas, Julia Ainsley, Janelle Griffith, and Doa Madani. We've got the following. Sean Diddy Combs was arrested Monday, the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York City said. Combs was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel on West 57th Street. A representative said he was caught off guard by the apprehension, according to a person familiar with the situation, who added that he had been living at the hotel for several weeks. Now, I do have one question. And, of course, it's a little too late to be asking this, but, okay, if you're Sean Diddy Combs, okay, why in the infernal regions of Dante's hell are you even still in the United States where the feds could get their hands on you? Now, granted, you could make an argument there's nowhere in the world he couldn't go that the feds couldn't get to him, but still, why make it that easy? But, we'll figure that out later, I suppose. Anyway, back to this article from NBCnews.com. The U.S. Attorney Damian Williams confirmed in a statement that on Monday evening, federal agents arrested Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the Southern District of New York. Quote, "We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we will have more to say at that time," Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney, said. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifello, expressed disappointment in a statement. He said Combs, 54, had been cooperative with the investigation and voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Okay. Quote, "Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community," the statement said. "He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court," the statement added. It is not immediately clear on what charges Combs, the rapper turned music mogul, was arrested. Combs has faced a wave of lawsuits, one as recent as last week, accusing him of sexual assault and misconduct since November, when former girlfriend Cassandra Ventura sued him in federal court, accusing him of years of physical and sexual abuse. Ventura, who is best known by her stage name Cassie, was once signed to Combs' Bad Boy record label. The two settled her lawsuit a day after it was filed without disclosing the terms of the settlement. An attorney for Combs said the settlement was not an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. He had previously denied the allegations. And apparently here's a picture. Oh, very lovely young lady. Very lovely. This was about, 6 years ago? Oh, yeah, very pretty young lady. Since then, a number of others, including Dawn Richard, who alleged that he groped and threatened her when he was employed with her, or when he employed her from 2005 to 2012, and that she witnessed him brutally beat Ventura. Combs has vehemently denied the allegations in the lawsuit, saying they were, quote, "sickening allegations from people looking for a quick payday." But in May, after CNN released hotel video of Combs kicking, punching, and throwing Ventura on the floor in a hallway in Los Angeles in 2016, he apologized in a video on Instagram in which he said His behavior was, quote, inexcusable, and he had sought therapy. The video was later removed from his page. Richard, who was a member of the girl group Danity Kane, which Combs formed on the MTV reality competition Making the Band, and later the group Diddy Dirty Money, sued Combs last week. Yeah, this is going to get interesting, and I want to get some of your guys' take on this. WWG1 says Diddy was the Epstein of the music industry. That's the comparison that is just racing through my mind right now. There is a lot of stuff. And again, we're going to see where all this shakes out. So we'll see. WWG also says WWG1 says maybe he was employed by the feds. Just a thought. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. No Diddy. All right. What kind of IQ is Diddy working with? That might be the answer. Dave H says the left's been kissing his ass for decades. He's a monster. Oh, I got a clip here in just a second. That's from Alex Jones. Or I should say Alex played it on his show today. And if some of what is alleged in this clip is true, oh, baby. I'm not even sure the comparisons with Epstein are even going to be fair to Epstein. Anyway, let's move on. Maybe drugs fried his brain out. Who knows? Yeah, can't disagree with you there. That's a good nickname for him. The Black Epstein. Okay, talking about Ventura. Her music is mediocre, but she's gorgeous. Oh, yeah, she's gorgeous. I mean, I'd never seen a picture of her until now, but she's absolutely pretty. Kind of reminds me of Janelle Monáe. Monáe Janelle, I should say. Let's see what else Gypsy's got. If you don't want to believe that Diddy has 3-letter agency people and government people recorded, you are delusional. Oh, there's been oh man. You know what? Let's just get to this clip. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play part of it. And where this picks up is what, in part, he's being sued for. Now, again, this was on Alex's show today. Take it for what it's worth. But when you hear some of this, you're going to begin to understand why this thing could get real big real quick.
In summary, according to a lawsuit filed by Chicago native and musical prodigy Rodney Jones, aka Little Rod, Sean Combs hired Jones to produce songs on one of his albums. Jones was then led into a twisted, rigged music industry den of iniquity fueled by underage sex trafficking, homosexual grooming abuse, murder, RICO statute violations, and every variety of drugs known to mankind. Those implicated in the lawsuit include Combs' immediate family, music executives, top-tier Hollywood actors, and a slew of hyped-up crappy musicians that inhabit the hijacked Illuminati music industry.
We're talking A-listers like Cuba Gooding Jr., Meek Mill, Young Miami, Stevie J, Usher, Chris Brown, and even Diddy's own son, Justin Combs.
Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity.
The lawsuit reads, quote, Mr. Combs had hidden cameras in every room of his home, has recordings of several celebrities, artists, music label executives, and athletes engaging in illegal activity. These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent. Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties, end quote. The lawsuit is as bizarre as it is enlightening, and a link to it is added to the text of this report. For instance, quote, Defendant Coram, Combs' assistant, required all employees from the butler, the chef, to the housekeepers to walk around with a pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and Tukey, which is a pink drug that is a combination of X and cocaine, end quote.
Yeah, this has got the potential to be explosive. Now, we don't know what's in the indictment. We don't know what he's being charged with. But I think, and this is just me, I think Chaya's expression, the Black Epstein, if what is being alleged in some reports is true, that Sean Diddy Combs was recording people without their knowledge, and we got all kinds of illegal ass activity here, a crap pile of it. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah, we got some. Minmo says he got Meek Mill on camera at his kid's birthday party, hopping in a bunny suit. Ugh. Oh, man. Blocked Ad Runner. Good evening, folks. Good evening, Blocked Ad Runner. He popped in over on the Rumble side. Good to have you here tonight, brother. Yeah, this is, baby. And by the way, according to CNN, they are reporting feds ain't giving him bail, and he remains in federal detention, which, by the way, and again, I cannot confirm this, but supposedly Sean Diddy Combs is being held at the same place Jeffrey Epstein was. Again, that is not confirmed, but I have heard it said. Blocked Ad Runner over on Rumble says, like Epstein, I want to see who his trafficking clients are. Buddy, this has the potential to get explosive. I mean, we'll see. And we will see. Oh, God. Holy shit. Whew. Yeah. Not surprised. Yeah. Yeah, we'll like I say, this has the potential to get real big real quick. My question is, why now? If, and again, he's innocent until proven guilty. If this stuff's been going on for as long as it has, why now? What's going on? Y'all know one of my favorite nursery rhymes, right? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Now, guys, what's the very next line of that nursery rhyme? I'll wait in chat for your answer. As I said, one of my favorite nursery rhymes. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. What is the very next thing you should say when you hear that line from that great old nursery rhyme? Let's see what y'all come up with. If you, yeah, I'm probably WWG1 says that is a good question to have, Brian. Why now? Could it be that it is now time? Don't know. Oh, don't know. TBA says, why now? In order to give the public time to get their heads wrapped around this evilness so that when you see what Epstein did and with whom he did it, they'll be crying for blood, says TBA over on Rumble. Could be. Chaya says the answer to my question, he fell apart and all the king's horses and all the king's men had to put him back together again. No, not quite. Not quite. See, there's the original nursery rhyme, and then there's Uncle Brian's version of it. Uncle Brian's version of it is kind of like this. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Who's pushing Humpty and what's in it for them? Or, you know, like you guys said, the why now. To me, I always ask the question, okay, Humpty fell off the wall. Humpty had a great fall. Who pushed Humpty and what was in it for them? Who's pushing Humpty? What's in it for them? Why now? Why are they doing it now? Hadn't thought about it from that angle, but good point. Like I said, I had never heard it from that angle, but that I can see that. I could see that. Could see that. WWG1 says Humpty was a fence setter. Well, see, it's kind of like moderates. What are the two things in the middle of the road? Roadkill and moderates. Well, there you go. So Diddy's been denied bail. Feds have got him in custody. Indictment's going to get unsealed in the morning. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this one goes. Small time, by the way. Howdy, small time. Good to see him. Maybe they're hoping Combs will implicate whether it's true or not. That's an interesting theory. That is an interesting theory. And here's something else I hadn't thought about, but that's true too. Cat Williams said 2024 would be the year truths would come out. Cat Williams may wind up being more prophetic than we had any idea. Anyway, like I said, this broke today. I mean, it's been out there in the ether for a little while with what's going on with Diddy, but it finally broke loose today. And like I said, this has the potential to just absolutely just cut loose. We'll see. We've got a statement here from Damian Williams, who's the U.S. Attorney for the U.S. Southern District, who's handling this. I'll go ahead and pop it up here. So here's what the U.S. Attorney Williams is saying about this whole thing.
Now, I want to be clear about two things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4-HSI-TIP.
Or maybe it should be translated 1-800-I'm-a-Fed. Just saying. Anyway, so yeah, there we go with that piece of news. Okay. It is 8:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 out there on the plains. And my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and this is Chattin on the Porch. A nice little fun little live stream we do in the evenings where we get together and talk about news. So, and boy, the news is breaking today. Good stuff all the way around. I am your simple but humble host trying to bring it to you. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, go ahead and do so on YouTube and on Rumble and hit the bell for notifications. Like I say, we usually get together Monday through Thursday at 7:30, and we do a little live stream on the weekend called Front Porch Brunch. So if you have the ability to join us live, plan on doing so. If you hit that bell for notification, that'll make it a whole lot easier for you to remember. But if you're not able to do so, we understand. But please do the following. Number 1, hit the thumbs up. Number 2, leave a comment in chat. Number 3, share the link around to your friends, because I'm sure they'd all be very interested in hanging out with this fabulous group of people in chat, and also your humble host. All right, let us move on. Folks, we're going to move on to the Nightcaps section of the show. And for those of you who are familiar with this, it's not going to be new to you, but for those of you stopping by for the first time, the news Nightcap section of the show are those stories not quite above the fold, so to speak, but they are important, some of them serious, some funny, somewhere in between. And the first one of our Nightcap stories that we've got is, ladies and gentlemen, I have good news and bad news. Kamala Harris made a media appearance today. Now, if you're a Democrat, you would say that's good news because Kamala needs to get out there and talk to the people. The bad news for Kamala is she's talking to the people, and it's not helping her. Oh, God. Have you guys seen any of the clips of this appearance? She made an appearance today at the National Association of Black Journalists. They were having a meeting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay, makes sense. TBA says, was Kamala injured? No, she was not injured. She was not injured. But I'm pretty sure her tongue is in traction. And if you're wondering, don't worry, Midmo, I'm getting there. Just hang on, brother. Hang on. Okay. I'm going to do something that I normally do not do. Okay. She makes your cat cry. Well, wait a minute. Are we sure that Kamala's not Haitian? I mean, if your cat's crying and it has to do with Kamala, cats, maybe Kamala's ethnicity and heritage are a little more mixed than we all realized. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. As you all know, I have no idea how to do a live stream or how to host one of these things. I just kind of do what I sort of found radio talk show host over the years to do. So as a general rule of thumb, I will not play a long clip. Okay. But I found one of Kamala Harris today. And y'all, I know what I think of this thing. But I'm going to do something that I almost never do. I'm going to let this thing run. And I apologize to you in advance. I'm not trying to give you all a headache or make your eardrums hurt or anything else or make your brains bleed. But I ain't going to lie to you. You run some risks in listening to this clip for as long as it is. I am going to let this run. And I want you to do two things for me when it's done. I'm not going to tell you what she was asked, nor am I going to tell you the subject of this before I start it. But when you figure out what she's talking about, I want you to put it in chat, number one, and then number two, tell me how long it took you in this 5.5-minute clip to figure out what the heck she was talking about, okay? Now, I know that's a bit of an unusual request, but I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about when you hear this. So with that, you have been forewarned. And here we go.
It's a crying shame. I mean, my heart breaks for this community. You know, there were children, elementary school children, who it was school photo day. You remember what that's like? Going to school on picture day? Who were dressed up in their best, got all ready, knew what they were going to wear the night before, and had to be evacuated. Children. A whole community put in fear. And I'll say a couple things about it. One, I learned a long time ago in my career, having a background as a prosecutor, when you have these positions, when you have that kind of microphone in front of you, you really ought to understand at a very deep level how much your words have meaning.
Okay, now I do have to stop for one thing here because the boys over on Rumble have given a couple of disclosures that I failed to do. TBA says, take your youngsters out of the room. And Blocked Ad Runner says, please cover the poor dog's ears. And TBA with one more comment. My cat just slinked out of the room, belly crawled to a corner, and covered its head. Y'all, I apologize. I should have given you a warning about your pets. Okay. Don't give up yet, TBA. You can't give up yet. You're just 1 minute into this thing. So, and by the way, folks, out of mercy to y'all, I may not let this go the whole 5 minutes because I ain't gonna lie. I heard this thing before we came on tonight, and I went, I think I'm pretty sure I've lost 10 points off my IQ just listening for the reasons of listening to this thing. So, out of mercy to y'all, I may stop this. Okay. With that, we continue.
I learned at a very young stage of my career that the meaning of my words could impact whether somebody was free or in prison. As Attorney General, I was of California, fifth largest economy in the world. I was acutely aware that my words could move markets. When you are bestowed with a microphone that is that big, there is a profound responsibility that comes with that. That is an extension of what should not be lost in this moment, this concept of the public trust. To then understand what the public trust means. It means that you have been invested with trust to be responsible in the way you use your words, much less how you conduct yourself. And especially when you have been and then seek to be again President of the United States of America. And so I go back to, it's a crying shame, literally. What's happening to those families, those children in that community, not to mention what is happening in terms of, look, you say you care about law enforcement resources being put into this because of these serious threats that are being issued against a community that is living a productive, good life before this happened. And spewing lies that are grounded in tropes that are age old. And look, I said it not very far from here the other day at the debate. This is not new. This is not new in terms of these tropes. This is not new in terms of where it's coming from. And, you know, whether it is refusing to rent to Black families, whether it is taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against 5 innocent Black and Latino teenagers, the Central Park 5, calling for their execution, whether it is referring to the first Black president of the United States with a lie, birther lies. And look, the American people deserve, and I do believe want better than this. I do believe that. I know the vast majority of us as Americans know we have so much more in common than what separates us. I know that. I know that regardless of someone's background, their race, their gender, their geographic location, I know that people are deeply troubled by what is happening to that community in Springfield, Ohio. And it's got to stop. And we've got to say that you cannot be entrusted with standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of America, engaging in that hateful rhetoric that, as usual, is designed to divide us as a country, is designed to have people pointing fingers at each other. It's designed to do that. And I think most people in our country, regardless of their race, are starting to see through this nonsense and to say, you know what, let's turn the page on this. This is exhausting and it's harmful and it's hateful and grounded in some age-old stuff that we should not have the tolerance for. So let's turn the page and chart a new way forward and say, you can't have that microphone again.
Okay. First of all, I love you guys. Contrary to what you might think of me right now, I genuinely do love you. All right, let me get the comments in over on the Rumble side. Then we'll come back to let's see. TBA says Brian's taking the hit for all of us. WWG1 says keep it going for 5 minutes. We may all have a negative IQ. Blocked ad runner. Her mouth moved things, not her words. Let's see. Crap. Now I'm howling. Oh, she's talking. Okay. There was a cosplay there. Brian, save us, says TBA. What else do we have here? Blocked ad runner. Guess she doesn't realize most of her constituents have no idea what the hell she's talking about. We're not even her constituents. We have no idea what the hell she's talking about. Yeah. Turn the page. What is with her and Bob Seger? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what we got on the YouTube side. Lord have mercy. Let's see. I think some of these I might summon Beetlejuice. I agree with you, Tesla. I think she was drunk. I really do. I think she was absolutely drunk. Let's see. Brenda says she was asked about the election name calling. Okay, as to what she was being asked about, I'm pretty sure she's being asked about Springfield, Ohio, and the bomb threats. At least I think that's what she's asked about. But that sort of goes to my point. Okay, I very briefly engaged in an exchange on Twitter today with Sasha Stone. And I'm not doing that to name drop. I'm just telling you who I was having the conversation with. And she played a clip, and it was smaller than this one. And she said, this woman is a disaster. I said, it's one of two things. Either she can communicate and she doesn't want you to know what her real plans are, or she wants you to know what her real plans are and she can't communicate. I think it's a little of both, but on this one, I think she's trying to communicate and she just can't do it. I've said before, and I'll say it again all the way through the selection, we are dealing with an extremely insecure person. And she tries to hide that insecurity and cover it up by using long orations and flowery language that she thinks makes her sound more important and more smart than what she actually is. WWG1 says, when I get drunk, I fall asleep. I don't go on interviews. Well, in her case, just saying. So your cat might tell you to bugger off. Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's see what else have we got here. Too much rambling, but no cackle. Oh, God, Robert, you're awful. But I love you. Funny, but it's like... I worked at a thrift store and interact a lot with not sober people, so I have the ability to translate this sort of crap. A dubious talent. If you can come up with a translation for that, Rhonda, I'm dying to hear it. Yeah, the hoax of the bomb threats. I think that's what she was talking about too, Brenda, but she never gets to it directly. She never does. And I tell you what, by the way, are you seeing some of these Tim Walz clips that are out there? He's got her same problem. He can't talk either. I mean, you know, we joke about that phrase, I was raised in a middle-class family. He's using that same line. Doesn't matter where he is and where he's asked. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, bless your all's hearts. I've got 2 or 3 others, but well, have I got any short ones here? Have I got any short ones? Come on, tell me. Oh yeah, okay, here's one more. Oh, well, here's one I really want you guys to hear. Now, fortunately, this runs just 1 minute, but she's asked about African American voters. And this is a pretty telling comment. Do me a favor, check this out and tell me what y'all think.
But polling shows that some black men, particularly young black men, are considering voting for Donald Trump, and they see him as better for the economy. What is your message to young black male voters who feel left out of this economy, and how can your economic policies materially change their lives?
Now, I have to say, that's a very good question. And by the way, it's a very fair question. It doesn't really matter whose polling you're talking about. I mean, the ranges will vary, but anywhere from, let's say, 15% on the low end, low 20s on the high end. There is a decided shift in polling. Now, what it translates to on election day is a whole other question. But I think it's safe to say Donald Trump's going to do fairly well with the African American vote in the 2024 election. So it's a very fair question and very reasonable question to ask. And with that, here is her answer.
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that Black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like...
I'm not sure that's what Willie Brown would have said to him. Okay, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, moving on.
Any other voting group. You got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am Black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And
folks, that's a very nervous woman when it comes to the African American vote, and she knows it. She just admitted it. I'm working to earn the vote. If this were any other election, Democrats wouldn't even sweat this. If this were any other election, they'd never, number one, Democrats wouldn't even get this question. Okay? But it's gotten so bad for so long in the polling that it's becoming obvious. And I don't fault that journalist. I'm not sure who he was, the young man, but that is a great question. TBA says she's not going to answer that question. Oh, I agree with you. She's not going to answer that question. Midmo says did she give any semblance of an answer? We are all now dumber after listening to that. I award her 0 points, and may God have mercy on her soul. May God have mercy on our ears and our brains for listening to this. I mean, I love you guys, and I'm doing this in part to try to inform, but let me tell you something. I've heard about this. I have heard about this. I'm not saying, just saying. If you don't vote Kamala, you ain't Black. Good point, by the way. Good point. My cat had 20 brain cells and now it's down to 14. Well, if that's the cat, what about all the rest of us? So anyway, don't worry. We'll get it all back. Anyhow. Oh, by the way, remember how I said that that P. Diddy's what's going on with him has the potential to suck in a lot of people? I'm just going to leave this right here, and y'all can make whatever comments about it you like. Just going to pop that one up there for your consideration. Remember what's being alleged. Old P. Diddy recorded a lot of stuff. Do we know that we know about Kamala and P. Diddy? I'm not saying that anything happened, but I'm just saying, think about it. Good point. Oh, I think you're right, brother. I think you're absolutely right, Minmo. TBA says, Diddy connected with the K-Gal. Look, I just think where this thing with Sean Diddy Combs is concerned, I love the way Chaya put it. Black Epstein. Something for you to consider. Anyway, speaking of things to consider, I found something today, and I thought you guys would get something of a kick out of this. You remember the artist Pharrell? Pharrell Williams. Pharrell Williams. 'Cause I'm happy. Da, 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 da. Remember that one? Well, Pharrell has given an interview to the Hollywood Reporter, and while I'm thinking about it, I'll let you guys read this. I'll drop this in chat on both sides. You guys might want to take a look at this thing. You might enjoy it. Well, he's got a comment as it relates to this year's election, which I thought you guys might find interesting. And I'll go ahead and share it with you. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, and they did a very extensive interview with Pharrell Williams. And the headline is, Pharrell on checking his ego for the new Lego doc about his life. The megastar opens up about his personal story in the animated feature Piece by Piece, why you won't hear him talking presidential politics and tease upcoming work with frequent collaborator Beyonce. Quote, just get ready. The article's by Mesfin Fikadu, and I want to go down into this article because he's asked a very interesting question, and I think his answer is just as interesting. Let me get to it here. Give me 1 second. All right, here's the question. Music is playing a big role in the election. Would you allow either party to use your music in their campaigns? Pharrell Williams says the following, quote, I don't do politics. In fact, I get annoyed sometimes when I see celebrities trying to tell you who to vote for. There are celebrities that I respect that have an opinion, but not all of them. I'm one of them people who says, what the heck? Shut up. Nobody asked you. When people get out there and get self-righteous and they roll up their sleeves and shit, and they're out there walking around with a placard, shut up. So no, I would rather stay out of the way, and obviously I'm going to vote how I'm going to vote. I care about my people, and I care about the country, and I feel there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm really about the action. Interesting. This is a perspective I think that used to be prevalent in the entertainment industry. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been activists over the years. As a matter of fact, I was thinking when I was reading this, I was thinking back to the mid-1960s during the legendary civil rights marches, particularly the one in Washington, D.C., that Martin Luther King Jr. gave his legendary speech, the I Have a Dream speech. You had the following individuals marching together. Harry Belafonte, Charlton Heston, and Marlon Brando. Now, as time would go on, Heston would be more recognized as a person who leans to the political right. Brando was legendary for his involvement in politics. Matter of fact, he gave up one Academy Award for The Godfather because of how he felt American Indians were being treated. Belafonte was a legendary activist during his lifetime. But there was generally a consensus, look, I'm an actor, I'm an actress, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a whatever, I'm just going to keep my political opinions to myself. And I have no idea what Pharrell Williams' politics is. And in one sense, don't care. But I like the way he's going here. It's like, look, I'm going to stay out of it. Not my gig. Yeah, Alice Cooper's this way. Mark Wahlberg is this way to a large extent. Absolutely true. Blocked Ad Runner says Brando was a dysfunctional parent. Whoo, boy, you ain't kidding about that one. Blocked Ad Runner also says Pharrell Williams sounds MAGA to me. I don't know. Maybe he is. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. TBA says, does Pharrell own the copyrights to his own music? If not, he's got no choice. Funny you should ask me that question. Because he has asked a little bit earlier before that comment I read. Let me find it here real fast to answer your question. He has asked this very thing specifically. And yeah, here it is. I'll pop this up here, TBA, in part for your benefit. He's asked by the interviewer, so many artists have sold their entire catalog or part of it, including Springsteen, Dr. Dre, Stevie Nicks, Bob Dylan, and Justin Bieber. I imagine you've been approached by companies to sell. Pharrell Williams says, quote, yeah, but selling is not for me. There's no number to sell your rights, not for me. But to each his own. For some people, I guess it makes sense. When they're done, they're done. But I love music and I love my work and I love my ability to make music. So selling is not a thing. So there you go. Well, this is a good point too. Most people had no idea that Frank Sinatra was connected to the mob and still loved him anyway. And the funny thing about Frank, he started out as a Kennedy Democrat. He, Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Lawford, all those guys were campaigning for John Kennedy. And as the years went by, he wound up campaigning for Ronald Reagan. And I'll never forget, Dean Martin was asked about this. Someone asked Dean Martin, why are you campaigning for a Republican? You and Sinatra, you campaign for John Kennedy and yada, yada, yada. How can you do that? And Dean Martin said, because Reagan's a hell of a nice guy. This was back during a much different and a much better era between politics and entertainment. WWG1 says, I secretly own the entire Barney dinosaur collection. Okay, well, good luck with that. Just saying. He says, I'm waiting for the payday. Well, don't hold your breath, brother. That's all I'm going to tell you. Anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting from Pharrell Williams. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right, one last thing, and we'll bring this train into the station. No, two things. I got to put this in here, and because WWG1 sent this to me. Did you guys happen to hear Chris Cuomo? I can't tell what's going on with Chris Cuomo. I can't tell if Chris Cuomo is sucking up to try and get back in the good graces of the mainstream media so he can get off News Nation and get what he considers to be a real gig in news, or if now he realizes he'll never get back in the good graces of the mainstream media and he's like, screw it, I'm going to tell people what I really think. And the reason I say all that, there's a clip out there, and this is a pretty good one. I'm going to let this thing run. But WWG1 sent this to me. I had seen it earlier today. I did not have it pulled up. I'd thought about it, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. So I'm glad he sent this to me. With that, here's Chris Cuomo, and you guys tell me what you think.
I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again. No way I would do that. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? People mock her. And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. We are playing a dangerous game with ourselves. He is not a despot in waiting. Okay? I don't buy it. You gotta care when somebody tries to kill somebody. I've told you this before, and I've learned the lesson so many times myself around the world. Either you care when anyone is hurt, or you'll never really care about anyone being hurt.
Professor, good evening, sir. And thank you. I'm glad you sent this to me. I am. I am quite, like I say, I'm quite not sure what to make of this. Now, some of y'all are kind of like me. Who was it here? Hang on a minute. I swear TBA says, or Chris is angling for something to save his brother from the gallows. I don't know, man. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. No, I have not seen this, but you know what? We'll take a quick look. Have I seen it? Hang on a minute. Now I'm very curious. Give me a second here, folks. The professor sent me something, and it's from one of my absolute. Oh, Lady G has weighed in on something. Hang on a minute. Christian, thank you so very much for this. I just found it, brother. Oh, this is good. And it's from it's one of my absolute favorite people. God, I love this chick. Love her to death. Yeah, I know. Chris Cuomo was kind of, yeah, I get where you're coming from. True. Had to go there, didn't you, dear? Yeah, had to go. I'm just kidding. I love you. But I saw it. I was like, ugh. Yeah, just, I don't know. Don't quite know what to make of this. Okay. Thanks to the professor for sending us this clip. Lady G Gothics has weighed in on some of the cultural things going on. And you know me, when Gothic speaks, I always will do my best to take a listen. And she has weighed in with a short statement. And ladies and gentlemen, Gothics.
If this country were to fall to communism, which that's a possibility, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to reconsider where they draw the line in terms of what animals to eat. I just have this feeling. I think the thing that is so alarming to me is that people get riled up when it comes to animals. And that might be justified. If someone walked into my house and ate my cat, I would be pissed. But if my family was starving to death, I'm not going to prop up this animal as if it was a human being. Everyone seems to think that we are like the pinnacle of civilization. I don't know in what society murdering unborn babies is civilized. These kids don't even get a chance. They don't get a life. We're literally sacrificing kids for convenience or thinking it's going to undo trauma. But you're mad that Rover got cooked. The moral inconsistencies I see in my comment section is just, it blinds me every time I look at it.
I'm dropping that in chat. Christian, thank you for sending that over. Hat tip to the professor. And as always, if you're not following Christian Watson, what the heck's the matter with you? The best commentators out there in the whole of social media, and just one hell of a nice guy on top of that. Christian, my thanks, sir. All right, one last thing, and we'll pop out for the evening. So did you guys hear what happened over in the Middle East today? Apparently, the Israelis, and we kind of alluded to this at the very top of the show. Here it comes. Here it comes. This is why I love this audience. Nothing gets past you guys. You are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay. Apparently, the Israelis have figured out how to hack pagers and use them as explosive devices. Now, I use the word pager, and 20 years ago, probably still a thing. In America, we don't really think about it that much, but apparently in the Middle East, it is a thing. Okay. Well, we've got a clip of what happened, at least at one local market, when these pagers went off. So here you go. Now, I don't know about y'all, but where he had that pager on his belt could wind up being very harmful to his person. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. And with that, we're going to bring this train into the station and call it a night for Chatting on the Porch. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. As always, you are the most awesome audience on the whole of the internet. Thank you for your fun, for your energy, for your comments, your humor. You guys are absolutely the best audience on the internet. And this thing's going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to have fun. We're going to continue to do our thing. And please remember, this coming Thursday night, absolutely one of our most favorite people in the whole of social media is going to be stopping by. Please put it on your calendars for 6 o'clock this Thursday night when I get to host the lovely That Tug Life. She'll be here 6 o'clock this Thursday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. We're going to talk her story, and her story is a load of fun. She is an absolute joy and a blessing and a pleasure. And folks, if you don't know about That Tug Life, I really recommend you to her. She has a YouTube channel now. Subscribe to her YouTube channel while you're at it. She and I are just about right there as far as like similar amount of subscribers. And Tugs is just all kinds of good people. So check her out. Please help her out and be here Thursday night. Let's make this audience for her arrival on the Electronic Front Porch as big as we possibly can. She absolutely deserves it. So with that, I love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow night for the hump day version of this thing we call Chattin'. And in the meanwhile, see you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great Wednesday. And until we get together at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night, remember the words of that great American philosopher, the legendary Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7:30.